belongs to service providers who innovate without limits. That's why the fastest growing service providers are choosing the NetSapiens platform. Visit netsapiens.com.
Hey, everybody, it's Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News. And I'm very pleased to have with me today Rajesh Kari of Versa Networks. Rajesh, thank you for joining me today.
Great to be here, Doug. I'm excited to be here.
And you are Versa Networks Senior Director of Products and Solutions. And we're going to be talking about, as AI moves into a live network operations, Versa has been saying, we've been watching those posts, that the next Zero Trust challenge is not just controlling users and devices, but controlling every hidden AI sub-action before it can touch production infrastructure. So a lot to cover, very interesting topic. But first of all, what is Versa Networks?
Well, Versa Networks is a leader in SASE, and we offer a consolidated, unified SASE solution, which includes networking, security, operations for your entire infrastructure.
So, okay, let me understand some of these terms here. What are we talking about when we talk about hidden subquery problem? What is that?
Great. In order to understand the sub-query problem, you will also need to understand a little bit about agentic AI and what it does, right?
Okay.
AI does great, more like your search results, your content, your creation. But agentic AI takes control of a lot of actions for you, including your network operations, security operations, but it doesn't do it in a single command, right? It's so intelligent and capable that it can actually break them into subqueries, and it can come up with its own subqueries to provide you better visibility and management into your infrastructure. That's what we mean by subqueries by the agent itself.
So, and this opens up a problem. This opens up a security problem.
Yeah, yeah. Agentic AI itself opens up security problem. Contrary to AI, where you're just downloading information based on your prompts, here you're giving the control partially or fully to your systems, to your authentication, to your user permissions, to your systems, and even infrastructure as a whole. So, which means the agent can take action on your behalf autonomously, and also it can get those credentials to log into your different systems, right? And access the different resources. This opens up a whole world of vulnerabilities. Once you share those authorization and authentications, unless you have that zero trust protection, constant verification and validation of the agent's action, there's no way to control it.
So, in a sense, we're creating basically a hidden layer, and that hidden layer is very risky.
Mhm.
And I take it that people don't even, it sounds almost like people may not even be aware of what they've done.
Absolutely. That's where the unknown part comes in, right? People build agents, they know what the objective of the agents are, what they're intended to do, but under the hood, what the agent actually deploys, which APIs it accesses, and what kinds of authorization and authentication, whether it is secret keys that it leverages and exposes to the external world, is absolutely an unknown for infrastructure managers. And that's where the uncertainty and the fear comes in.
Now, is part of the vulnerability also misunderstanding or the AI agent misinterpreting what you intended?
Possibility, high possibility of doing it, right? As you're aware, like AI sometimes hallucinates.
Yeah, I
There's
was
a
getting
high
to that. Yeah.
chance, yeah, there's a high chance that agent, again, based on the operations that you assign to it and the subqueries it tries to generate in order to accomplish the task, it could hallucinate, right? And the hallucination can also lead to multiple subqueries, which were not required in the first place. And that could result in more exposure or some results that is undesired for your infrastructure itself. Um, so those are the hidden problems with agentic AI.
So Versa Networks has something called Versa Verbo.
Yes, Versa Verbo has been part of our product for quite some time, but the intent of Verbo is to provide your network operations both in terms of visibility, management, and also analytics. What it does is on a day-to-day basis, network practitioners really doesn't have to go and look into hundreds of events and alerts to understand what's happening in their infrastructure. Instead, they can simply use Verbo to get a comprehensive visibility into what exactly happens in their branches, the outages, the performance issues, etc. We have made it super easy for them, right? But Verbo also now includes agents. These agents are specialized in order to provide them that granular and customized results. And practitioners who are not even familiar with their entire infrastructure, they could simply use human language in order to understand what's happening. Whether it is a security incident, whether it's an outage, or whether it is simplification of configuration, anything to do their day to day operations simplified, that's the intent of Verbo, and that includes the MCP server and the agentic AI to run all the operations on behalf of the humans.
And is this what you're calling Zero Trust MCP architecture?
This Zero Trust MCP architecture is part of our Verbo, but it's also offered in our MCP server itself. So there are two parts, right? Let's look at Verbo itself. So Verbo now offers agentic AI, which in turn queries our backend, which has all the data, right? Analytics, visibility, management, configurations, policies, etc. So it's able to get access into all of them and provide it to the end user. In order to get the access, we are now using MCP server and agents to simplify it and automate it. So it gives a better workflow. It gets easier access. It also lets people to use human language to actually go and query for this important information from their infrastructure itself in whichever enterprises Versa is already deployed, right? That's the functionality of Verbo. MCP server itself is also extended to anyone. They can use a AI model like Claude or OpenAI that can query into our Versa backend. They can actually understand what's happening in their Versa deployed infrastructure, get granular insights into how their network is functioning, performing, what outages. All that information is available through the MCP server to these AI models as well.
So I think one of the big developments over the last 12 months is people have moved from sort of the demo stage of AI to the production stage of AI, hence some of these problems that are coming to surface. If you're an MSP or a channel partner, what should you be thinking about? And then maybe explain how you might interact with Versa Networks.
Yeah, great point. Great point, right? So let's look at the MSPs itself. They lack the internal capability to build governance infrastructure while also deploying AI at speed. So which also means there are multiple billable layers for them. There's policy architecture, deployment needs, ongoing governance. So everywhere they also need to have human in the loop approval. That's why partners who build this practice now enter the category ahead of the market. They want to have agents to accelerate their deployment, get better management capability into the whole infrastructure, and also win the race across these different vendors, right? So it makes their life simple, but also helps them expand their portfolio.
Is it something that the MSP should initiate, or as opposed to sort of waiting for something to happen?
Well, I think in this day and age, they should initiate, right? It's not a surprise that Gartner says 60% of organization across the world have already started leveraging agentic AI in some capacity and model, right? So they should already be asking for these functionalities. If not, they should be working with these vendors to accelerate developing these capabilities. That's why we have the MCP server. We will also come up with the MCP gateways. These helps MSPs to interact with Versa networks or any other vendor with their MCP servers and simplify their operations and get ahead in terms of building their orchestration, deploying customer sites, and also simplifying that day zero, day one, and day two operations.
So, looking ahead, do you see AI operations copilots becoming standard in SASE and network platforms? And will governance become the deciding factor in adoption?
Absolutely. So it's no surprise that copilots, natural language processing enabled copilots are going to be a standard, right? It's not optional anymore. Network practitioners, infrastructure managers, even CXOs, now they want to actually go into their systems, not look at a bunch of widgets and analytic dashboards, but simply use human language to understand what's happening. Say, if I'm a CIO, I'm grabbing coffee at 8 o'clock in the morning, my first action would be like, show me the health of all my branches across the entire globe, right? That's possible. Now, with Copilot and our agents actually make it faster and enable that visibility across the entire infrastructure and also provide granular insights into what is going wrong in case some of the branch networks are underperforming or applications are underperforming. So that's definitely needed, right? Copilot is essential to every single product, especially a SASE product. Now, so, coming to the governance of the agentic AI actions itself, it is no longer optional, it's mandatory. And I'll tell you why, right? Agents can take actions on your behalf, sometimes human in the loop, sometimes without human in the loop, but it's imperative for everyone to understand what actions it has taken. If something has changed in terms of your configuration in your production network, a read write operation has happened where you thought it was not supposed to happen. How do you track them, right? So you need a governance. You need to be able to track and understand what changes happened, when, and by who, right? And what API call actually triggered that action. So if you want to go and fix any kind of issue that has happened because you are deploying these agents, governance is absolutely necessary. It's not just for their actions, but also for security and compliance, right? If the agent has gained access into certain files or visuals which has violated any particular compliance standards like HIPAA or any of the retail standards as well, then it becomes the responsibility of the organization to actually prove it. So governance is absolutely important. It's no longer optional, it's imperative. And we strongly believe at Versa that it should be built in into every agentic action.
Well, there's some solid advice, Rajesh. I really want to thank you for joining me today. This has been very interesting. There's a lot to talk about, and I
Mhm.
hope we continue the conversation. But for now, where can we learn more about Versa Networks and
Yeah,
Versa Verbo?
yeah. You can learn by logging into our web pages at www.versa-networks.com. And we have a dedicated product page just for the Zero Trust MCP server. If you navigate to our products, drop down, Zero Trust MCP server is an option. Read all about it. We have blogs, white papers, reference architectures, webinars, and experts talking about this. And we are here as a team along with our sales and experts and professional services to help you adopt this, deploy it, and accelerate your day-to-day operations.
Rajesh, thank you very much indeed for joining me today. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Doug. It's always a pleasure being on this platform.
Innovate without limits, scale without compromise, and never pay per seat again. Discover why providers choose netsapiens.com.